Imagine this. You're walking through a peaceful American suburb lined with picket fences, well-manicured lawns and single-family homes that have stood for decades. For many, this image defines the American dream: privacy, space, ownership. But beneath the surface, something fundamental is shifting. Cities across the US are beginning to dismantle a long-standing pillar of urban planning: single-family zoning. This change isn't just about regulations or housing types, it's about equity, affordability, sustainability, and how we define community. In today's video, we're diving deep into the movement to end single-family zoning. Why is it happening? What does it mean for homebuyers, investors, and everyday Americans? And most importantly, is this the future of American housing? Let's unpack the story behind this zoning revolution. The origins of single-family zoning, a historical snapshot. To understand the implications of ending single-family zoning, we have to go back to its roots. Single-family zoning began to take hold in the early 20th century, primarily as a tool to preserve the character of suburban neighborhoods. The idea was to create residential areas where only detached single-family homes could be built, excluding duplexes, apartment buildings, and even townhomes. But it wasn't just about aesthetics. Single-family zoning also had a darker side. It was used to segregate communities economically and racially. In many cases, zoning laws became a way to keep low-income families and people of color out of wealthier, predominantly white neighborhoods. Redlining and racially restrictive covenants were reinforced by these zoning laws, which in turn shaped how cities grew and who got to live where. Even as legal discrimination was rolled back in later decades, the legacy of exclusion through zoning remained firmly intact. Why is single-family zoning under scrutiny today? Fast forward to today, and America is facing a serious housing crisis. According to Freddie Mac, the US has a housing shortage of roughly 3.8 million units. Rents are soaring, home prices have skyrocketed, and first-time buyers are increasingly locked out of the market. One major culprit? Land use regulations, particularly those that limit the type of housing that can be built. In cities like San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Seattle, up to 70% of residential land is zoned exclusively for single-family homes. That means multifamily housing, duplexes, triplexes, even small apartment complexes can't legally be built on most plots, even when the demand is sky high. This bottleneck restricts supply, drives up prices, and forces people to live further away from jobs, schools, and public transit. It also deepens income inequality and contributes to urban sprawl and environmental damage. So the question being asked by urban planners, policymakers, and housing advocates is simple. Why are we still zoning like it's 1950? Cities leading the charge. Who's changing the rules? Now let's talk about what's happening on the ground. In recent years, several cities and states have taken bold steps to end or dramatically reform single-family zoning. Minneapolis became the first major US city to eliminate single-family zoning entirely in 2019. Its new policy allows duplexes and triplexes to be built in neighborhoods previously reserved for single homes. Oregon followed suit, passing a statewide law requiring cities with over 10,000 residents to allow at least duplexes on all residential lots. California, home to some of the nation's most expensive real estate, passed Senate Bill 9, which allows homeowners to split their single-family lots and build up to 4 housing units in place of 1. Other places like Austin, Charlotte, and even parts of Montana are exploring or enacting similar reforms. These changes are aimed at upzoning neighborhoods, loosening restrictions to allow more housing diversity and density, particularly in areas with strong job growth, public transit access, and high-quality schools.
The pushback. What are the concerns?
Of course, not everyone is on board. Opponents of ending single-family zoning raise several concerns. One common argument is about neighborhood character. People worry that increased density will lead to overcrowding, more traffic, and a loss of the quiet suburban feel that drew them to their communities in the first place. Others are concerned about infrastructure. Are local roads, schools, and sewer systems ready to handle a population increase? And then there's the fear of speculative development, investors swooping in, buying up properties and flipping them into luxury townhomes that do little to solve affordability. There's also a legal angle. In some states, lawsuits have already been filed arguing that zoning changes infringe on local control or property rights. The tension between state mandates and municipal zoning authority is likely to play out in courtrooms for years to come. So while the movement to end single-family zoning is gaining momentum, it's far from universally accepted. What does this mean for homeowners and investors? So how does all of this affect you, whether you're a homeowner, a prospective buyer, or a real estate investor? For homeowners, zoning reform could mean more options. You might be able to build a second unit on your lot, an ADU or a duplex, which could serve as rental income, a home for aging parents, or housing for adult children. For investors, this could open up new opportunities. Properties in formerly single-family zones may suddenly allow for denser, more profitable development. This could be a game changer in markets like Los Angeles, Portland, or Raleigh, where land is expensive and in high demand. However, with opportunity comes risk. These reforms are still evolving. Local opposition, permitting delays, and construction costs can all impact your bottom line. It's crucial to do your homework and work with professionals who understand the local regulatory landscape. Zoning reform and equity, leveling the playing field. One of the strongest arguments for ending single-family zoning is equity. Exclusionary zoning has contributed to racial and economic segregation for generations. By limiting who could live in certain neighborhoods, it effectively kept wealth and access to good schools, parks, and services concentrated among a select few. Zoning reform aims to change that by allowing a broader mix of housing types and price points within every neighborhood, not just the high-density downtown core or the low-income fringe. More inclusive zoning policies could help correct decades of housing injustice, give more families access to opportunity, and build stronger, more diverse communities. But the devil is in the details. Reforms must be paired with policies that prevent displacement, support affordable housing construction, and ensure that the benefits of growth are shared across the board. The future, a new vision for American neighborhoods. So what might American housing look like in the next 10 to 20 years? We could see neighborhoods where a single-family home sits next to a duplex, a small apartment complex, or a row of townhomes. Instead of long commutes and car dependency, people might live closer to work, bike to the grocery store, or catch a quick train downtown. Zoning reform could bring back the missing middle, housing that's more affordable than a single-family home but less dense than a high-rise. Think triplexes, courtyard apartments, or bungalow courts, once common in American cities, now making a comeback. These changes won't happen overnight, but the conversation has started, and cities that embrace smart, inclusive zoning may be better positioned to thrive in an era marked by climate change, demographic shifts, and economic uncertainty.
Conclusion. Is this the future of American housing?
So, is this the future of American housing? It might just be. The movement to end single-family zoning is part of a larger reckoning with how we build, who gets to live where, and what kind of communities we want to create. It's not just about density, it's about dignity, opportunity, and sustainability. Whether you're a homeowner trying to understand new rules, a buyer searching for affordable options, or a real estate professional looking to stay ahead of the curve, zoning reform is a trend you can't afford to ignore. At Journey Realty Group, we believe in staying informed and empowered. If you found today's video insightful, let us know by hitting the like button, subscribing to our channel, and sharing your thoughts in the comments. What's your take on single-family zoning? Is this the change America needs, or is it a step too far? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Stay smart, stay curious, and stay journeying.